Bonjour French 1 students. Here is your teaching video for the Unité 3 Entracte, pages 118 to 123 in your textbook. Again, you need to have your textbook open and be following along. S'il vous plaît, ouvrez vos livres à la page 118. Ce week-end, à la télé. Le week-end, les jeunes Français regardent souvent la télé. Ils aiment regarder les films et le sport. Ils regardent aussi les jeux et les séries américaines et françaises. Les principales chaînes sont TF1, France 2, France 3, 5e Art M6 et Canal+. Voici le programme de télévision pour ce week-end. So you will find that some of this information will show up on your unit test as culture questions. So on weekends, French young people often watch TV. They like to watch movies and sports. They also watch games and French and American series. The main channels are TF1, France 2, France 3, 5th Art, M6, and Canal+. Here is the television guide for this weekend. And it says, note, in French TV listings, times are expressed using a 24-hour clock. In this system, 8 o'clock is 20 heures, 9 p.m. is 21 heures, 10 p.m. is 22 heures, etc. So notice we have the channels here. Vendredi, which would be Friday, okay, and samedi, which would be Saturday. So, vendredi, 20h50, magazine Succès, émission présentée par Julien Coubert et Anne Magian. 23h15, magazine Célébrité. 20h55, série Hôtel de police, Le gentil monsieur de Claude Barroy avec Cécile Magnet. 23h20, documentaire Histoire naturelle. 21h, film Le cinquième élément de Luc Besson avec Bruce Willis et Mila Kukovic. 22h15, concert Viva Latino. 20h45, documentaire Cathédrale de Jean-François Delesroux. 22h20, film Quasimodo, le bossu de Notre-Dame. 20h50, variété Grande Star, émission présentée par Laurent Boyer. 22h20, théâtre Rhinocéros. 20h50, football Marseille-Nice, champion de France. 22h50, film Air Force One avec Harrison Ford. So, again, we have like a news type show to begin with some success. It's called Success. And following that, there is another show about celebrities. Next, we have a series, Police Headquarters, and The Kind Gentleman. And then a documentary about natural history. On France 3, we see a movie. That's actually an American movie. That's The Fifth Element. And then a concert with Latino music. Then we have a documentary about cathedrals. And again, a film about the Hunchback of Notre Dame, right? Quasimodo, the Hunchback of Notre Dame. And then a variety show. And then a show that is like theater, so live people acting. And then soccer game between Marseille and Nice, the championship of France, followed by an American movie. on samedi. 21h50, Je qui veut gagner des millions avec Jean-Pierre Foucault. Série 21h50, série Les Sopranos. 21h, Variété, Champs-Élysées, invité Ricky Martin, Juliette Binoche, Ben Affleck. 22h35, série Buffy contre les vampires. 20h40, série Inspecteur Barnaby avec Daniel Casey. 22h50, sport, Grand Prix d'Italie, motorcyclisme. 20h50, documentaire, architecture, la Tour Eiffel. 20h05, concert, le Philharmonique de Vienne. 20h35, film, le mariage de mon meilleur ami avec Julia Roberts. 22h15, série, Police District. 20h45, film, mon père, ce héros avec Gérard Depardieu. 23h15, rugby, Toulouse, Beatrice. So on Saturday, we see a game show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, followed by a series, which is an American series, The Sopranos. Then a variety show called The Champs-Élysées with several. Ricky Martin and Ben Affleck were popular in the United States, and Ben Affleck at least is an American. Then a series, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Another series, Inspector Barnaby. And then some sports. It's a motorcycle race, the Grand Prix of Italy, followed by a documentary about the Eiffel Tower. And then a concert, the Philharmonic of Vienna. And then another movie, and again, this is an American movie. This is My Best Friend's Wedding with Julia Roberts, followed by a series. And then another American film, My Father the Hero, with a French actor in it, Gérard Depardieu, and then rugby. L'Internet, c'est cool. Un journaliste interviewe les élèves du lycée Buffon pour le magazine Dynamo. Le sujet de l'interview est comment est-ce que vous utilisez l'Internet? Est-ce que vous utilisez souvent l'Internet? Moi, oui, j'adore. Je passe 1 heure ou 2 par jour sur le net. Je télécharge de la musique ou des jeux. Est-ce que vous utilisez l'Internet pour communiquer entre vous? Oui, beaucoup. J'adore chatter. Dans ma classe de français, nous correspondons par mail avec un lycée au Sénégal et nous échangeons des photos avec l'Internet. Nous sommes amis. Et toi, Julie? Moi, je n'ai pas d'accès à l'Internet à la maison, mais j'utilise l'Internet au lycée. C'est super. Je peux consulter les programmes de télé et de cinéma et je fais des recherches pour mes cours. À la maison, nous sommes des fans de l'Internet. Ma mère achète beaucoup en ligne et mon frère passe son temps libre à surfer sur les sites de foot. Et toi? Moi, j'adore communiquer avec mes copines. J'envoie des mails. Je fais aussi des invitations avec des images et des animations. Alors, tu surfes, il surfe, elle surfe, vous surfez, tout le monde surfe. Oh oui, l'Internet, c'est super cool. So this is about the Internet and that it's cool. Remember, our textbook is about 20 years old. So 20 years ago, the Internet was kind of a new thing. Okay? So a journalist interviews students from Buffon High School for the magazine Dynamo. The subject of the interview is, how do you use the Internet? Do you use the Internet often? Me? Yes, I love it. I spend 1 or 2 hours per day on the Internet. I download music or games. Do you use the Internet to communicate among yourselves? Yes, a lot. I love to chat. In my French class, we correspond by email with a high school in Senegal, and we exchange photos. With the Internet, we are friends. And you, Julie? Me, I don't have access to the internet at home, but I use the internet at the high school. It's super. I can consult the TV guides and the movie guides, and I do research for my classes. At home, we are fans of the internet. My mom buys a lot online, and my brother spends his free time surfing on soccer sites. And you? Me, I love to communicate with my friends. I send emails. I also make invitations with images and animations. So you surf, he surfs, she surfs, all of you surf, everybody surfs. Yes, the internet, it's super cool. Note culturelle, les gens français et l'internet. French people are technologically very sophisticated. They developed the Minitel, a precursor of the internet, many years before this newer system of transmitting information became universally adopted. At school, French students learn to use the internet in their computer science classes, les cours d'informatique. Many have internet connections at home. Those who do not can go to a cyber cafe where they can surf the net while having a sandwich or a soda. So the Minitel existed in the 1980s, and it was a precursor of the internet, so they didn't publish phone books in France. If you wanted to find somebody's phone number at that time, you got on your Minitel that was in your house, and you looked up the phone number. It also had the movie listings for movies and such, so it had a lot of some of the early information that first went on the internet was on the Minitel system. So when the internet kind of exploded, France was ready to go. Okay? And then they're just talking about the fact that they learn about computer science. Again, the French are going to be like you today. Remember, our textbook's about 20 years old. They're going to use the internet in the same kind of ways that you do. The Petit Dictionnaire de l'Internet, chatter means to chat. Envoyer on a mail is to send an email. Surfer sur l'Internet, to surf the internet. Télécharger, to download, and être en ligne, to be online. Alright, bonjour Trine. Bonjour, je m'appelle Trine Nguyen. J'ai 14 ans. J'habite à Paris avec ma famille. Je suis élève de 3e au collège. J'étudie beaucoup, mais je n'étudie pas tout le temps. Voici ce que j'aime faire. J'aime les booms parce que j'adore danser. J'aime la musique. J'aime surtout le rock, le rap et le reggae. J'aimerais jouer de la guitare, mais je ne sais pas. J'aime les sports. En hiver, je fais du snowboard et en été, je nage et je joue au tennis. Je ne suis pas un champion, mais je joue assez bien. J'aime jouer au basket, mais je préfère jouer au foot. Le week-end, quand il fait beau, j'aime faire du relais avec mes copains. J'aime mon collège. J'aime l'anglais parce que le prof est sympa. J'aime aussi l'histoire, mais je n'aime pas trop les maths. À la maison, j'aime écouter mes CD de rock. J'aime aussi regarder la télé. J'aime le sport et les films d'aventure. J'aime jouer aux jeux vidéo et j'aime jouer aux jeux d'ordinateur sur l'ordinateur de ma mère. Mais avant, je dois demander la permission. J'aime surfer sur l'Internet et télécharger de la musique. J'aime envoyer des mails à mes copains. Je n'aime pas chanter en ligne parce que je n'aime pas parler à des gens que je ne connais pas. J'aime téléphoner à ma copine, mais je ne téléphone pas souvent. Mon père n'aime pas ça. Et vous, qu'est-ce que vous aimez faire? Répondez-moi vite. Amicablement, Trine. So, hello, my name is Trine. I'm 14 years old. I live in Paris with my family. I'm a student of the 3rd grade of middle school, which pretty much means he would be like in 9th grade. I study a lot, but I don't study all the time. Here is what I like to do. I like parties because I love to dance. I like music. I especially like rock, rap, and reggae. I would like to play the guitar, but I don't know how. I like sports. In the winter, I snowboard, and in the summer, I swim and I play tennis. I am not a champion, but I play rather well. I like to play basketball, but I prefer to play soccer. On weekends when it is beautiful, I like to go rollerblading or inline skating with my friends. I like my middle school. I like English because the teacher is nice. I also like history, but I don't like math too much. At home, I like to listen to my rock CDs. I also like to watch TV. I like sports and adventure movies. I like to play video games, and I like to play computer games on my mother's computer, but first I must ask permission. I like to surf the internet and download music. I like to send emails to my friends. I don't like to chat online because I don't like to speak to people that I don't know. I like to call my girlfriend, but I don't call often. My dad doesn't like that. And you? What do you like to do? Okay. Answer me quickly. In friendship, Trine. Now, this strategy reading is going to be important because, again, remember there's reading comprehension questions on your unit test, and there'll also be some reading comprehension questions on your final exam. And so this is a strategy that they will expect you to be able to use. So the strategy reading cognates. You've already discovered that there are many words in French that look like English words and have similar meanings. These are called cognates. Cognates let you increase your reading comprehension effortlessly. Be sure to pronounce them the French way. Sometimes the spelling is the same or almost the same. Un champion, champion. La permission, permission. Sometimes the spelling is a little different. Les maths is math. Note culturelle, les Vietnamiens en France. So Vietnamese people in France. Vietnam and other Southeast Asian countries like Laos and Cambodia have a long civilization. For a period of about 80 years, until the mid-1950s, these countries were occupied and administered by France, which established schools and promoted the use of the French language among their populations. In recent years, many Vietnamese people, like Trine's family, have emigrated to France. Vietnamese restaurants are very popular with French students because of their fine yet inexpensive cuisine. So again, they're just explaining that many people from Vietnam have left Vietnam and gone to France. And part of the reason they did that is because they already knew the French language, so it was an easy spot for them to go. So that brings us to a discussion about your homework. So your homework is page 114, 115, exercises 1 through 5. This is the test de control. By taking the following tests, you can check your progress in French and also prepare for the unit test. Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper. Exercice 1, the right activity. Complete each of the following sentences by filling in the blank with the appropriate form of one of the verbs in the box. Be logical in your choice of verbs. So this really is a two-part exercise. The first part is which verb in which sentence based on its meaning. The second part is you need to conjugate or make your verb agree spelling-wise with the subject of the verb sentence. I would like you to type out the whole sentence, underlining what you put in the blank. So, for example, for number 1 on your paper that you would type, you have Jean-Paul blank une pizza. So remember, chanter means to sing, jouer to play, manger to eat, parler to speak, écouter to listen to, regarder to watch, habiter to live, and travailler to work. So Jean-Paul something une pizza, he mangeait une pizza. So I can even kind of save a little bit of time and just use il. Remember, I'm going to take off my er, and I'm going to add an e for il. Une pizza. So that's what you would write on your paper for number 1, and you would do the rest of them in a similar way. 2. Être and faire. For each item, Fill in the first blank with the appropriate form of être and the second blank with the appropriate form of faire. So again, these are the two irregular verbs that you learned. Être is going to go in the first sentence every time. Faire is going to go in the second sentence every time. For this one, you can just write what goes before the blank. Okay, so you're going to write what goes before the blank and then what goes in the blank, and then you'll stop. So for example, for number 1, it would be je suis, je fais. Okay, so you're going to do like that for the 5 of those. Exercice 3, no. Rewrite the following sentences in the negative, replacing the underlined words with the words in parentheses. So again, kind of two things. First, I have to make these negative, which again means that I'm going to add ne pas to each of my sentences. And then whatever's underlined is going to get replaced with what's in parentheses. So for example, and you'll have to write the whole sentence out for these. For example, in number 1, I can say elle. Right, I can save myself a little bit and write their subject pronouns, okay? Elle n'est pas, because I have to add my ne and pas around my verb, américaine. Okay, so that's what I would write on my paper for number 1. So you're going to write out things similar to that for the 5 of those. You'll have to write the whole sentence. Exercise 4, the right question. Write out the questions that correspond to the answers below. Make sure to begin your sentence with the question words that correspond to the underlined information. Use to in your question. So we have j'habite à Paris. I live in Paris. So what would the question have been? Where do you live? So où est-ce que tu habites? Now with this one, I want you to write the questions twice, the long way, and that short way using subject, verb, inversion. So remember our example here would be, in the short way, would be où habite tu. Okay, so for example, number 1, we have je téléphone à Marc. I'm calling Mark. So the question was, to whom do you call? So it was à qui est-ce que tu téléphones. That's the long way. Now I'm going to write it a second time the short way. Remember, I'm going to reverse the order of my subject and my verb. I'm going to leave out est-ce que. So this question becomes à qui téléphone tu. So each question gets written twice, once the long way with est-ce que in it, and then a second time the short way using subject, verb, inversion. These will all use question words because these are all information questions. Exercise 5, the right choice. Choose the word or expression in parentheses which logically completes each of the following sentences. For this one, you may write just what goes in the blank. So we have François habite blank France. So François lives, it would be in France. So number 1, you would write en. So you're just writing what goes in the blank. Au revoir, à demain.